As for these remarks, as you previously stated, we officially lodged our formal protest through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and that represents one aspect. But currently, I don't have any information about the specific events that transpired involving that particular general. There remains an unresolved problem in our current circumstances. Therefore, I might consider that it would be preferable for her to execute her most effective move in this situation. If we should decide to send him, please ensure that he fully understands it is not the right mission. If we deceived him, let them say so publicly, or if we ask the Senate that he made a mistake. Or do you also mean if it possibly has a bad intention? We will confront him as necessary because everything he said requires our response.
Indeed, the words by President Ibrahim Traoré came from the bottom of his heart. For long, the exploitation of Africa's natural resources, including minerals, agricultural resources and others, by foreign entities for economic gain, has had devastating consequences for the continent and its people. President Ibrahim Traoré responded right by reminding General Langley that the gold he talked about, that it is for the captain's benefit, is not at his personal home, but in the national treasury. Then the general, maybe, interpreted the word treasury wrongly. Even the US itself has a national treasury. The US National Treasury is the department of the US government responsible for managing the nation's finances, including the gold reserves. It stores and manages the nation's gold holdings, currently totaling 8,133.5 tons, with a statutory book value of 40 tau to 220 tau per fine troy ounce. You have heard it right. President Ibrahim Traoré has always made it clear that Burkina Faso's gold, among other minerals, are for generation of finances for the different mega projects across the country in various sectors. In Burkina Faso, where the gold sector accounts for 12% of GDP, the focus is firmly on control of mining profits. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, since his rise into power, has repeatedly expressed his intention to see his country take control of the exploitation of its mining resources. The disparity in wealth has grown, with the affluent becoming wealthier, while the impoverished have become poorer. A significant question arises: what percentage of the profits from gold mining has been reinvested in Africa? These are among the many questions Pan-Africanists for this case, President Ibrahim Traoré, are asking themselves. During the colonial period, France extensively exploited gold resources in its African colonies. In West Africa, particularly in areas that are now Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso, gold mining was a significant source of wealth for the French colonial empire. After independence, many French companies continued to benefit from mining operations in former colonies. Now, Pan-Africanists are coming out to declare their dissatisfaction with Western companies that haven't created room for mutual benefit concerning mineral extraction in Africa. While in Russia, President Ibrahim Traoré declared protection for Burkina Faso's gold that has acted as a magnet for various destabilizers that are supported by the West. President Ibrahim Traoré no longer calls them terrorists, but criminals who are aiming at obtaining gold at the expense of suffering citizens. The more the captain resists them, the more they transform with new weapons. Then he wonders how just mere militant groups manage to obtain new and strong weapons within a short period of time. President Ibrahim Traoré heavily believes that they are obtaining these weapons from imperialists, who are aiming at regaining control of the minerals, mostly gold. But the captain isn't shaken by these instances. President Ibrahim Traoré knows that through the alliances he has formed with Burkina Faso, all possible ways have to be practiced for insurgency to end as soon as possible. Russia's support to Burkina Faso seems not ending anytime soon, while in Russia, the two leaders emphasized increased collaboration towards the fight against destabilizers. Indeed, President Ibrahim Traoré confronted General Langley boldly. by stating that the gold is for Burkina Faso, not for the US. Maybe he wasn't aware of the rapid transformation going on in Burkina Faso. Declaring General Langley a liar isn't a mistake. Ever since President Ibrahim Traoré's rise into power, it is even seen that the Burkinabe and the Africans at large appreciate his work for the Sahel country. Burkina Faso having a gold treasury or holding gold reserves is a crucial asset for a nation, acting as a store of value, a hedge against inflation, and a source of stability during economic uncertainties. It also influences international trade and foreign investment, making a nation more attractive to global investors. As President Ibrahim Traoré emphasizes sovereignty, the financial sector of Burkina Faso has not been under control by the nation itself. The financial sector in Burkina Faso has long been entirely controlled by the West, operating within a framework influenced by international organizations and regional unions. While Burkina Faso, being formally a member of the West African Economic and Monetary Union, WAMU, which impacts its monetary policy, the country's financial sector had been also overseen by national regulatory bodies. While addressing on Russian television, highlighted the tricks the West has long been practicing. He accused the imperialists of putting the word democracy on the pedestal in order to remove strong men like the way they did on Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, among other leaders who had put their nations in a place of sovereignty. Even though destabilizers are evolving day and night, President Ibrahim Traoré is ready for any challenge against Burkina Faso's sovereignty. Yes, of course, they have been African leaders with records of corruption among other bad activities within their nations. But a good leader doesn't need explanation. He just creates action. Leaders like President Ibrahim Traoré are declaring that it is time for the African continent to tap into the zone of sovereignty it has always been longing for. The continent has been grappling with immense problems, yet it has the potential that has been utilized by foreign sovereign nations. Pan-Africanists. For this case, President Ibrahim Traoré are choosing partnerships and alliances with whom they share the same challenges. President Ibrahim Traoré has said it clear that Russia and Africa share the same history of fighting hard to put an end to Nazism in which they suffered equally. They have also suffered at the hands of the imperialists who have and continuing to influence conflicts in their regions, as the captain highlighted. Anti-Western nations such as Russia, China, Turkey, Iran, among others, have shown the world that they are able to handle their matters without waiting for the West's approval. This is what Pan-Africanists, for this case, President Ibrahim Traoré, are seeing in Africa that also has the same potential to work on its matters without approval from the West. This is why President Ibrahim Traoré said that the words of General Langley are not moving him from what he is planning for Burkina Faso. Indeed, African countries have potential just because they have been fooled all along that they have to wait for what the West has to say. This is why the continent's leaders were quiet while Gaddafi was being silenced by the West. Now this time round, Africans are taking matters in their hands. They have put their voice up for the world to know that they are together with rising Pan-Africanists who are changing the usual narrative the continent has been used to, but painfully. The continent is seeing a treasure of sovereignty ahead, but it had never reached it. This is why Africans want their binding voice of sovereignty to roar around the world.